Hey guys,
welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books
amongst other things, and I feel ghetto fabulous with my earrings from Gold Soul
collection
by Asia, right here.
The link will be in the description. Put it in the description.
All right, well, we are back with another video today. So we're knocking out like little lists. We like to do little lists from time to time, and I feel like we haven't done them. So we did one last week, and now we're doing another one. So today we will be discussing our favorite book endings. So it will be spoilers throughout this video.
Yeah.
So be warned, there will be some spoilers because we'll be discussing the ending and why we like this. So let's get into it. You start.
Okay, so
How many
first,
you got?
we're gonna do the last two together.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Go.
So first one I have is I'm gonna say Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste in the Angie.
Don't ask me.
Y'all know Little Fires Everywhere. It was the show starring Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington. But it first was a book that they made into the show. And basically it was about a family, a big family.
The Richardsons.
The Richardsons, who, and it focused on like the younger daughter who basically just felt like left out and like her mom didn't like her for real. And her siblings were all like, the mom had another family come live in a house, like rent a house from her, which was Kerry Washington's, but I can't think of her name in the book. Mia and her daughter,
Pearl.
And Mia and her daughter Pearl came and rented out a place from the Richardsons, and then of course, like her children started getting close with the other children, with the Richardsons' children, and it was just a lot going on. So fast forward, y'all should have read the book already. So
and we have a video talking about the book and the show, so check it out.
Fast forward to the ending. What's her name? The one that the daughter that nobody liked that ran away. Anyway, the main daughter that I was talking about, the troubled child, she set the house on fire.
Lizzie?
I think it was Lizzie or Izzy.
Izzy.
Was it Izzy? And she basically ends up running away, and then the mom realizes like, yeah, she should have been like just a better mom, like in certain situations. And so the ending, I felt like the ending was good, but it was just, I wanted to know like, oh, where did Izzy go? Like, did she run away to New York? Where'd she go? Like, what happened with Mia and Pearl? Well, they ended up leaving, but it's like, where'd they go? Like, I wanted it to continue on. But I did like the ending because it did give some closure. Like, I feel like the mom, the Richardson mom, she got what was coming to her. Like, she got some self-realization. And also, it wasn't like a typical ending. And the way the story started, it started from the end and then like went back. Like, it started from when the fire started. And then went back to like, how did that happen? So that was cool, and I really enjoyed the end. I liked how it ended because y'all know, like sometimes I don't like the ending of stories. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of critical things to say.
Okay. Well, for me, an ending I thoroughly enjoyed was Circe by Madeline Miller. So Circe is top tier for me. I love that book. I love her writing.
Yes.
She made me fall in love again with Greek mythology. I was always intrigued by Greek mythology in high school based off the stories, but the Iliad and Homer's writing, sometimes I would get lost. It was so thick and so much. And so, I think I played video games that involve Greek mythology. I'd watch shows that involve Greek mythology. So she really sparked that back for me. So boom, that's enough about just the book itself. But as far as the actual story, so the story is about Circe, who is a nymph, right? She's basically a witch. So she's the daughter of one of the gods, the sun, Helios, right? I don't remember. I just remember how it made me feel, and that's what's important. Right. So basically, she is. But like, she's like, I describe Circe as kind of like the Forrest Gump of like Greek mythology because because she's basically involved in some of these greater known Greek story. So she's the person responsible for turning one of the sea nymphs. She turned them into a monster, and that's the same monster Odysseus had to fight to get back home. So like she's responsible for that, and because of that, she was basically banished to an island by her dad, and she was left to live there. No date of when she would return, anything like that. She was just left to live there for pretty much eternity. So because she was on this island, and her banishment was going successful, a lot of people would come by. Other people have been banished there over the years, and pretty much her island began to be a stop for some of these other notable people, like Icarus, I think, or not Icarus, his dad. What's his dad? I can't remember him. But and then, like I said, Odysseus, he stopped by. And then later, Odysseus's son, I think, who she ends up falling in love with. She fell in love with a few people. She was getting it on the island, I'm going to tell you that. But either way, so the story kind of culminates and ends with her falling in love with, I want to say, Odysseus' son, and pretty much deciding to give up her immortality to live a life with him, so they can go and, be together, thrive together, and eventually die together. So I thought it was a beautiful ending, especially when you see her journey. She lived hundreds and hundreds of years on this island. It was not a boring story, considering that she was there alone. It was just like a lot of stuff that still happened, but in the end, that she was able to still fulfill something for her, which was find love and lasting love and true love, and just make the decision to just be. She really came into her own throughout the story, so I really enjoyed that. So that's why it's one of my favorite endings. I barely remember everything that happened.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think I muddled through it pretty well.
Okay, so another book that I like the ending is something that we actually talked about recently. I think we did a book review on it. It was Concrete Rose.
Okay.
By Angie Thomas, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we just talked about, but basically that's the prequel to, it's kind of like a prequel to The Hate You Give. It goes over, it follows, is his name Midnight? No.
Maverick.
I'm thinking of Cold Something Ever.
Ooh.
Anyway, so it follows Maverick, who is the father of Star. Yes. From The Hate You Give. And basically it like follows his life before he had her, and like how he came to have her, and like her brother, or is she has an older brother?
7.
Okay, yeah. And
girl, you just read this book.
Memory's bad. So it follows like that story, him being a teenager and like figuring it out. And we said, we did a book review on it recently, so check that out if you haven't already. But basically the ending I really liked, because it was very much like you follow Maverick's story, and you kind of know how it turns out, because you like see how he is in The Hate You Give. But also it's like, it's nice to see his progression from being like kind of like trying to figure out being a young dad and take responsibility for his actions, and not wanting to take responsibility, but then owning up to it, and how he just kind of grew into that person. And I felt like the ending was really good, because it was very like realistic, but also like, oh, like I like that. I just like his character progression, and I feel like the ending kind of like sealed it off, and just, it was nice. It was pleasant.
How did it end?
I forgot, but I remember really liking it. But he
ends
I know him in
so he was going to try to spoiler.
Yeah.
So he was going to try to seek vengeance against the person who he thought killed his cousin.
Yeah, but
he ends up walking away from that.
Right.
And
Growth.
pretty much his best friend is like, oh, you didn't do it. And then in the midst of that, he also had to flush some drugs down the toilet. So his best friend was like, oh, you did what? Don't worry about it. You good. Like that, like empty threat. And other than that, he went on to like just
live a straightforward path instead of getting back into like the gang life and like drugs and stuff. He wanted to live a better life for his children, which was like, I thought was like really, it was really cool to see because it wasn't like just straight up like cookie cutter, like, okay, like this is what I gotta do. Like he had internal battles, like he really went back and forth between doing the right and wrong thing. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the ending because it was good. And it was cute.
You know how he ended up paying his friend back, right?
Oh yeah. Wait, what happened?
In The Hate U Give, he went to prison. That's the only way to get out the game. Come on, put two and two together.
But he was out of prison by the time. But they would always talk about it.
They would always talk about it. But and I like that she didn't really go into him going to prison in either book. Yeah. Like they just kind of, you knew it happened, but okay.
That was it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So boom, for me, the next book that I really enjoyed the ending, and I tried to go back in my catalog, back old school, but I kind of kept it towards like more recent books I read within the last couple of years. So one of my favorite endings was The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Daré. Ooh, I could not remember. I blanked so bad. So that was one I read, I think, last year. But pretty much it's about this girl who wants an education. She really, so since this is a spoiler-esque video, I can really get into what it's about. So she wants an education, but she lives in, I think, Nigeria, I want to say. But in her community, women are just good for being married off to someone, getting their family money for being married off, and then going and having somebody's kids. And pretty much she doesn't want that. She wants to get an education because her mom passed away, and pretty much her mom was in support of her getting an education, but her dad, trying to make ends meet, have, multiple kids, he's like, marry her off, get her on, this is the way she can provide for the family. So she gets married off to this old man, and she's like 13 or 14, something like that at the time. And pretty much has to kind of be in that relationship and, do as she fulfill her duties. He's also dating some other person, and then ends up, she's pregnant. I can't remember, but basically the woman dies giving childbirth or something like that. She like dies, and so the girl knew she was going to be blamed for it, so she runs away. So she ends up gets going and getting assigned to this family to be their house girl. And during that time, she really just did her duties. But the man of the house that she was assigned to was really kind of creepy and coming on to her. And the previous house girl had disappeared, and they never knew what happened to her. So she was curious as to what happened to this previous house girl. Why
he killed her?
I don't think so.
Oh, did you find out?
Wait, maybe he.
That's what it was giving me.
I can't remember, but pretty much I think something like that happened. But pretty much she ends up seeking solace with another person who has who's friends with that family, and the woman pretty much recognizes the girl's situation, the girl's strife, and understands that she wants to get an education, so ends up helping her apply for this program to help her afford an education. And pretty much at the end of the story, she's granted the scholarship or whatever to attend this program and get into this schooling. I didn't want to say education again, but to get the education she so much wanted. So that's why I really liked it, because she went through so much, and you really were sad for her, really scared for her, really just wanted her to come through and come out of this on top. And really at the end she did, because she got the opportunity she so desired. So boom. I think I told y'all a little too much. I have to go into all that, but I don't even halfway remember it. So
yeah, me neither. I don't remember anything. But okay.
Did you read it?
So no, I didn't read it.
Okay.
I was like, I was saying in general, I don't remember stuff, books. Okay, so next book that I really enjoyed the ending of was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevado, one of my faves. So Clap When You Land, that's a book that I think we also did a book review on. But it was basically about these two sisters. One lives in New York City and the other lives in Dominican Republic. And they don't know that about each other, but they have the same dad, and basically their dad has been living like a double life, going back and forth or whatever, but they don't know about each other, and then they find out about each other once the dad passes away, and it's like all this stuff going on because like dad had a whole nother family in DR or whatever, and it goes back and forth from each girl's perspective and how they find out about each other when they come in contact. Yeah, if you want to know more, watch the video, our review. So the ending basically ends with it was like a lot going on, but the moms of the daughter, I feel like it was the mom of the daughter in New York who really didn't want anything to do with.
She didn't initially.
Yeah, she didn't want anything to do with like the other family or whatever. But you know, the sisters, when they found out about each other, there's a lot of curiosity and basically like wanted to like know. And so they had the sister in DR had an opportunity because of her dad's like money or something.
Yeah,
right, to come to New York, and like basically like that was her dream, to come and like go to school in the States, and she had the opportunity to come live with her, you know, her new sister, but it was kind of like some stuff going on with the family where they wasn't really trying to let that happen. But
and
basically
some guy was like approaching the sister and trying to like take it.
Yeah.
And he was trying to also take the money. And so y'all know what it is.
Right.
If I wasn't referencing the money at first.
Right. So yeah, she had to get rid. It was just a lot going on. But I really enjoyed the ending because eventually the other mom came to her senses, and the daughter that was in DR was able to come to the States and get an education. Well, they didn't go into detail about that, but basically come to the States.
For women to get education, apparently.
Right, and like just to fulfill her dreams and just afford a better opportunity off, you know, basically since her dad lied to her all her life, or was lying to both of them. Like, think about having a sister and not. And I think like one of them, or they both, like,
one of them found out.
Yeah, like she knew about her before the other one did. But yeah, so I really like the ending. I feel like it was just I like for stuff to end like very smoothly, very what you call it, happy ending-esque. Like I like that, and I feel like that was a happy ending because it could have gone several ways, several bad ways, but it ended up like going in the favor of both of the daughters at the time. So I thought that was great, and it's one of my I really like Clap When You Land. Okay. It's one of my favorites that I think I read that year, because that was like last year, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't this year. So yeah.
All right. So for me, I have a new recent. That's the same thing. A recent addition to my favorite endings. Like I said, I kept it more so my recent books, but I could have went back, but I didn't. I wanted to get the newest. So I said, y'all gonna get tired of me talking about this book because I'm about to talk about it to the, you know, what's the term? The cows come home. I don't know. Is that the term? Mm-hmm. Oh, how you know? You're not from here. And that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. So much so, I saw another book of his on the Kindle deals, and I just bought it. I don't know what it's about, but
who?
T.J. Klune.
Never heard of him. What book did he write?
If you get
The House on the... No, I heard it.
The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Oh yeah, I do remember you talking about that book.
So,
I was like, wait, I've never heard of this man in my life.
Boom. So it's a fantasy-based book. It's about this guy. He's a caseworker with the registration office for magical youth, something like that, where he goes and visit these orphanages where magical youth are assigned and just check the conditions, make sure everyone's safe. If incidences happen, he goes and check and see and interviews everyone, and really just takes care of the well-being of the kids that are there, as well as make recommendations in regards to whether it's to stay open or not. And he lives a really isolated life. He doesn't have any friends. He goes to work, comes home, does what he needs to do, and that's it. But he does desire to always go to the beach, go to the sea, whatever, but he's just not that type of person to take that initiative to do it. He has a cat, very much a loner. So one day he's assigned this classified case, and he goes to this island where this orphanage is, and it's the house in the Cerulean Sea. And he meets this really charismatic, I forgot what they call the house, the people who take care of the orphans, but it's like, oh my God, I feel like the older I get, the dumber I get. But so he's this really charismatic guy who's taking care of these really unique set of magical youth. So it's, I think, 6 kids there, and they just really have unique abilities, and they've been deemed like danger to society for whatever reason. So he's really hesitant into stepping into this situation, but really gets an opportunity to, he has to stay there a month, so he gets the opportunity to really get to know them, really see what's special about everyone in this house, and has quite a, unspoken love connection with the headmaster. I don't know if that's the word. So yeah, it just goes into that, and really him reporting and building a backbone while he's there, and really speaking up for these kids and what's going on with the whole system as a whole. So I think I really enjoyed the ending, because it does get to a point where he sets out to really fight for these youths. And he puts his money where his mouth is. So he goes to work, he disrupts everything. He's like, I say they should stay open. That's my final report. I'm telling y'all to keep it open, keep it open. And they're like, why? And he's like, because I said so. It's because of this person that these kids can thrive. And by the way, this isn't a real orphanage and all this. So he disrupts the system in a way, and then he steals files. He quits and he steals files. And really, sometime later, he goes back and confesses his love, and lives in the orphanage with the kids, and they take on and adopt all the kids. And he goes back and reviews all the cases of the kids he's been curious about over the years, and check in on them, see if they're in a better situation. If not, help with the process of transferring them to their orphanage. And then they're getting another kid. Like, it's like really beautiful the way it ends. It just because what he really finds and discovers is a family in the process. So I think it was a great story, had a great ending, and that's really what solidified the book for me, the way it ended. So I really enjoyed that one. That was a good ending, and you need to read it, even though I just ruined the ending for you.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna read it. Okay, so next book is one that me and Kristen read that we're gonna talk about together, because we both read these books and
the last 2
really enjoyed the ending. The first book that we're gonna talk about is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine
by Gail Honeyman.
I think so.
I didn't write down her name, but I think it's something like that.
Okay, yeah, I think it is that. So that book is about, Eleanor Oliphant is like this quirky woman in her like early 30s who lives alone. Basically, like, she's kind of like socially awkward kind of, and like doesn't really know how to like talk and connect with people, but there's a reason for that. Like, she kind of had like this traumatic upbringing with her mom. Is kind of, was her mom like an alcoholic, or
her mom was something, but her mom was kind of like verbally
abusing her,
and ended up burning the house down while she was in it, and she killed her younger sister.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. And it's like she has like injuries because of it.
Yeah.
And basically it's affected like her whole life and how she lives her life now, or in the book. And basically through the book, like, she like finds, like, she meets this boy, and they start having a thing, and like she starts talking to like a therapist. And what else happens?
She meets this old man, he bumps his head, she helps him, and she gets like her first friend.
Yeah, her
and
first,
then
like,
her coworker, her coworker guy, they become friends. So it's all like this whole new world opening up for her, because she just lives her life very much like doing what she needs to do to get by. Now she's a borderline alcoholic, because she would buy wine all the time.
She would buy, yeah.
But
that was wrong with her mom.
Yeah, her mom would always call her from prison and check in on her and stuff like that, and it
still
would like
abuse her low key.
Right. So yeah, I agree.
What did you enjoy about the ending? Like,
I don't even.
Girl, you put on the list.
So I enjoyed the ending, because pretty much she goes through all this and really just comes to her own. She ends up kind of just cutting the situation off with her mom. She really connects and builds this relationship with this older man. He introduces her to his family.
Yeah, and she like starts to build a life for herself. Basically, she starts living her life finally.
And then she strikes up kind of a love connection with the guy. So
it
really, it's one of those where it's like, this woman is down on her luck. You kind of could chuckle at her, but you know you shouldn't.
Right.
But at the same time, she really takes ownership of her situation eventually and just comes out on top.
Exactly. And that's what the nice thing was about the ending.
All right, so the last one we'll mention and talk about together is when we thoroughly enjoyed the ending was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
If you don't read any other book by her, read that one. I feel like that's how I feel about it.
So,
but she has a lot of good ones.
She does. So, Seven Husbands. We're gonna make it quick. It's about seven husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Her seven husbands.
Can't talk. But pretty much. So she is approached to do this interview. She's this icon, movie
she's an
icon, legendary status. She has not done an interview in years. She has barely been seen in years. But she approaches this young woman who's a writer at this magazine and says, hey, I want you to do my interview. I want you to do my this is going to be my last interview. And so the woman's like, me, what did I do? Why are you picking me? But okay, fine. So she goes and they set up this whole thing to interview Evelyn. And basically Evelyn goes back over her history of her life and her seven husbands. So spoiler. So turns out that she married all these men for different reasons. So first one was kind of getting out. She just wanted to get out. She wanted to get to Hollywood. She wanted to live a lavish and luxurious life, and he was on his way to LA. So she said, hey, I'll marry you, and lied about her age and got gone. And then so then she goes into marrying men for like status and movie, because I guess back in the day it's like, ooh, you get more attention based on these relationships. So some of that was part of her reasonings. But then she met the love of her life, a fellow actress, and really that's who she wanted to be with always, all the time. But this story is going from like the 40s, 50s, whatever. So this wasn't a time where women could be together. So pretty much some of the other marriages she entered was like beard situations where they were both dating and in public, but they were really together. And then later on, she marries another guy who he's navigating, his sexuality, and she wants to help him, and that ends up being the father of her child, I think. So yeah, and pretty much she just goes into just these different situations just to really protect what's hers, and kind of protect other people. So really it's, in a way, even though she's doing it to reach status and acclaim, it's really out of self-preservation. It's also out of protection for the people she loves. So she really has some really hearty reasons why she's marrying these different people. And so you're like, oh wow, because it's so easy to label her as like just a chronic marrier, whatever you call it. So what happens? It ended with just basically her providing her story, really telling her truth. And she turned out they finally were together for their final years, the woman.
Her life,
and she passed away, and Evelyn found out that she had like terminal breast cancer or something some type of cancer. So she knew she was dying soon. She had squared everything away with her kids, and she really just wanted to leave the world with with everything she had. She just
letting everybody know who she really was at the end of it all.
Yeah,
so it's such a good story.
Yeah,
and a good ending.
Great ending. All right, so I know this was a little bit of everywhere. I know we threw some spoilers out.
Lots of spoilers.
We're used to keeping the cards close to our chest. So, and I know some of the books we didn't even remember some of the plot.
Honestly,
but
don't remember.
Thank you for hanging in there with us, because yes, these are all great books that you guys should check out.
For sure.
We probably already ruined the ending for you, but that's okay. It's still a good book. It's not about the end. It's about the journey.
Right. And let us know if you agree, if you read any, and if you agree with us about the best ending. Is there anything that we mentioned that you actually hated and was like, no, girl, like
let us
that
know
wasn't it.
Some of your favorite endings. We have tons more, but we just kept it light, kept it cute. Like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll be back next time. Bye.